like this warble type of thing.
Yeah.
But let me go ahead and open up some of the topics that we talked about. Thank you for taking the time to look at my website. I appreciate that. I looked at yours as well, and it's really cool to see, more people trying to help people. I've expanded myself into the animal kingdom, where I feel passionate about working with animals and teaching humans how to connect with animals. And for me personally, that's kind of fine-tuned my own clairs, tapping into the animal world. It's really kind of heightened my own personal sensitivities. You had asked me to talk a little bit about my company, Russ.
Yeah, just as an overview, so our alumni, maybe people that see this, can understand kind of where you're coming from.
Okay. So Healing Wheel Holistic started as kind of an accumulation of all the many rabbit holes I found myself falling into of 40 years in the health and fitness industry, working towards a PhD in naturopathic medicine. I started to get little nudges and knocks on the door of my mind when I was in session with people, where I felt there was a spiritual energy that had come into my own presence, working with people, picking up on nuances of very psychically. And I was in a corporate setting, and I was just baffled on how I was going to integrate that. If I would have a little bit of a download of what was really going on with somebody's gut health, that it was deeply emotional, and I would have this download or see this vision of this kid at a table with their parents fighting, and this angst and all this angst around food, and then developing into like ulcerated colitis or IBS or things like that. I was kind of at a crossroad of like, how do I even bring this up? Because I know this is the root. So I started to study energetic medicine in many forms. Reiki, Karuna Reiki, animal Reiki, psychic development, started to listen to a lot of the quantum physicists. And in 2020, when COVID hit, the corporation I was working for decided to do away with my department completely. And it was a really nice push into the next project. So here we are in 2020, and what I was seeing was this setup for our civilization basically to be agoraphobic, afraid of each other, a lack of touch, lack of connection. And I was listening to my husband talk about this retreat that he hosted for cancer survivors. And he said, you can talk a lot with people on a one-on-one, but you can't really affect change unless you create the container for it. And that just lit me up. And we were on this road trip, and I said, that's it. I'm going to start a wellness retreat company. I'm going to gather people together. And I took the concept of the medicine wheel, because I don't believe I'm a one-stop shop at all. I believe that it takes a village. So I decided, I'm going to connect with this hypnotherapist, and I'm going to connect with this woman that does somatic work, and people that do breath work and yoga and this and that. And this is going to be the healing wheel. And then I wanted to get involved with somebody that would be a great cheerleader for me and believe in me because I was doing something with unemployment checks, no slush fund, and not a lot of people believing in me, especially the timing. So Russ and I have been friends for 51 years.
Wow.
He was my best friend growing up, and today still my best friend. So
Did,
I called him up and
did
I'm
you
like,
go,
hey,
did you go to Beverly Hills High School too?
yeah, I did. Actually, I always say that I'm like the authentic Beverly Hills girl because I went to Temple Manual Nursery School on Burton Way. Then I went to Horace Mann, Beverly High. I mean, my whole life there. And then as soon as I graduated, I was out of there. But no, I called Russ up and I'm like, hey, I want to start a retreat company. I need someone to kind of like be my COO, someone who can manage me because I'm a triple Sag plate spinner. And he said, quote unquote, well, I've got nothing better to do. So I'm like, great. And then I think it was just a couple of weeks later, I told him that I had already gone ahead and thrown down a nice bundle of cash on this dome house in Sedona. They're like, okay, we're doing it. And I think I kind of taught him in a way that in many cases, it's okay to put the cart before the horse and take a chance. And it was me, it was all risk, but I really wanted this to happen. So it happened. And
We had
I,
one of our alumni come, Mike Gottlieb.
yeah,
He came on that retreat and we met a bunch of new friends in that retreat. That was really awesome. That's
yeah.
we really got it rolling from that point. And Paul, similarly, you had your origins came from India, and then you decided to start your own thing.
Yeah, I mean it's been 10 years since I've been back from India. By the way, Melissa, thanks for sharing that experience. And I think that you, like a lot of people, realize the opportunities that your soul was yearning out for, to be able to kind of express and to bring the value of healing, for lack of a better word, or intuitiveness, or personal transformation, and to make that transition from corporate to um, a bigger opportunity. And it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary. And one dimension I wanted to share, which I don't share often, is I had a real spiritual experience. I think a lot of people may say that. I was very, very, very sick with COVID when it first came around. I think I was like one of the first 20 cases here in Colorado, and they didn't know what to do. And I had a pretty good holistic homeopathic background, so I was treating myself. But there was one day where I just was delirious with sickness. And I had this really profound experience. I had this goddess image over me, over my body, beaming me, two hands beaming me like this intense light energy. And I felt this beam of light just arcing up and down and down and up and up and down. And she started to dialogue with me and telling me that I was going to be okay because I had a mission to go help people and help heal people. And this dialogue, that was in a nutshell, but it lasted probably for 3 hours of this intensity. And when I came through it, I couldn't really pinpoint the goddess figure. I still haven't really given the goddess figure a name, but it was undeniably this, you can call it the Shekhinah, you can call it, goddess energy, Mary energy, whatever anybody wants to call it. There was just this divine feminine presence that I felt was not, was like, it wasn't so much of a calling, but a call to. And when I came through, I made a determination that I was going to go forward and help people.
Mhm.
And that was kind of what gave me the confidence. So I just wanted to share that, because that doesn't look good in an executive business summary. You
sure.
know?
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. And I think it's very bold of you to really um, embrace it and to be able to, I mean, there's just tremendous power in that relationship because it's wherever whichever form the mother came in, or an angel or a divine soul, that's the journey, is to really reconnect to that relationship on a constant basis. And it could be your spiritual guide, or your guardian angel. It could be anything,
Right.
But that's great. Those visitations are fantastic, because
Yeah.
because because those are the experiences that people on the spiritual path really yearn for. Because obviously, for 3 hours you received a massive healing,
Yeah.
and that vibration and that energy is from a very powerful frequency and a place of real cosmic energy.
Yeah. I agree with everything. And I think what's important is that we come from a world where we have to name everything. Like humans, we think we have to name everything and put a verbal description on it. And what's really come to my mind is accept it as is, and not have to sift through or decipher, is it real, is it not real, did it happen, did it not happen, what is that, is that God, is that goddess, is that this, is it that? Who cares? It doesn't really matter. The fact is that this divinity of being took presence and was transformational and life-changing, and to accept that without having to define it. And I accept that. In your work, you may have stumbled upon people who are very extremely calculated, and um, find everything unacceptable if you can't reason reason it or define it, uh, or repeat it. So this is something to expound upon and teach. This level of acceptance, because when things come into our awareness that are new, it's almost like a baby who sees uh, the light come on for the first time. They're more marveled at, wow, there's a light, that's cool. They're not sitting there going, well, gee, when they put the light switch up, how did that current go from the light switch to the light bulb and now it illuminating the room? Like that doesn't happen. The wonderment is there. And I would love to hear in your practice, um, how do you get people to open up to this? I'm going to use the word wonderment. Like, how are you opening up to it? How do you get people to open up to this wonderment, to this wow, and quit like adulting in their mind all the time and having to intellectualize and prove things and just be open? How do you do that?
Yeah, so in the work that I do, and it's 14 years living in India, and then 12 years being back from India. So I've done it for a quarter of a century on this particular path. But I had been meditating prior to that for about 25 years. And actually, I started after high school, actually my senior year, just on the spiritual path because of that wonderment, because I knew that there was an energy, a force, a consciousness beyond what I was experiencing in life, and I wanted to know about it. I wanted to access it. I wanted to um, get back to that wonderment of being a child and having that awe, and but at the same time having a very mature consciousness of an awareness of an adult. And so, during the 14 years that I was in India, I really delved into the mechanisms and the experience of the whole spiritual rainbow, so to speak.
Where in India were you?
South of India, the teacher that I met in 1997 his name was Sri Kalshwar, and he was just an amazing master at a very young age. And he was gifted with abilities and to be able to perform miracles and to be able to give people direct experiences of the divine so that they can taste it themselves. Because until you experience it yourself, it's just theory and it's just words.
Mm-hmm.
And so early on, I had several experiences which really kind of blew my mind and really opened me up to what was possible. And then began the practice of learning and understanding the mechanisms of miracles, of where they come from, how to tap into it, how to really harness and work with it within yourself. So, and of course, you've got the mind, which is, tries to figure everything out like you talked about. But then there's the soul. So, it's a clear distinction between the body, the mind, and the soul. And the work that we do is on the soul level. It's on the inner energetic capacity and level. So I do agree with you. It's important to have that wonderment and to be able to maintain that innocence of and purity is what you're talking about. It's about maintaining that open heart like a child, and that's really important on the spiritual path for sure.
Paul, that same line that you're talking about, I agree. That's very important. In your practice, what key techniques do you teach, or like what would you consider the toolbox for people?
Yeah, the main focus is on changing your inner vibrations, because that's what happens when you develop a strong inner vibration, a strong higher vibrational frequency. What happens is that your consciousness it opens up to possibilities. Your consciousness and your awareness and your soul energy start to vibrate at a higher frequency so that you can experience it. You can experience the divine energies, whatever it may be. You may start to experience angels.
Would you say, with that in mind, when you're talking about a higher frequency, would you say that what you focus on expands?
Yes. Yes, and it's kind of it's a mechanism. It's a real technique of using mantras, yantras, intention, focus for specific results. I'll give you an example. If you really want to meet an angel, they exist in creation. They really are, and there are many experiences of connecting to that divine aspect in creation. You can at the same time be able to access a divine soul or even Mother Divine for that matter. The mechanism is to change your inner vibrations, is to change and elevate your soul frequency. so to speak. And mantras are a key practice for us because if you everything in creation has a frequency. So if you have the right key and you have the right technique and you have the right tools, it opens you up to be able to access those energies. So for example, we do meditation practices where you repeat mantras for a set period of time, like 41 days, 101 days. And then what happens is that you're literally raising your vibrations up through the use of mantras. Now, a lot of people use different techniques and they're all great. But in what I found is that for this particular, I mean, I had a lot of experiences which proved to me the power, and I'm going to use that word, the power of sound vibrations, because it's through the sound that you're able to access the light that is behind that sound. So, and part of the spiritual path that I found is that um, as you change your inner vibrations, you actually start to release out a lot of the mental constructs, the mental blockages, the false belief systems, and the things that we hold on to at a cellular level, so that, like they say, you can't receive something until you're able to remove the things that block you from that.
That's really like very profound what you just said. And I just want to interject because there's so many things you said that are triggering some really great thoughts. But what you were saying about in order to receive, there's some things you have to push out. So I'm a mother of four, and I remember with each one, the having a pregnancy and having another soul connection in your own body, and your vibrations are like so unique. There's a lot of purging that goes on as this child is growing, where no, I'm not going to take that anymore. No, I don't want to listen to that. No, I don't want to watch that. No, I really don't like that person in my life. And I noticed myself with each child doing this natural environmental detox, and really detoxing my environment, not just what I eat. Of course, that's going to be the most pure, but what I listen to, what I look at, because I felt like I was the eyes for this unborn child, and that whatever I was going to see in life, I was going to internalize that and bring it into my being. And it really made me reflect all the time and really, really have, like, I want to say, like, an economy of words as far as what I would say, and also really edit out my environment, raising my own frequencies. That said, the other tool I'd like to discuss with you that's so important to me, 40 years in nutrition, I've been rewriting the food pyramid based on energetic frequencies. And I can't wait to publish it, because I feel like if people would eat according to this pyramid of high vibrational foods, they would be less sickness, more happiness, less aches and pains, more kindness on the planet. And what we consume, I think, is so vital to our entire energetic being. And I want to know what you think about that.
Well, you mentioned two very important points, and I just wanted to just acknowledge and really talk about the power of the mother and the influence of her during and even after the pregnancy. And it's something that I learned through the teachings that I received in India, was that a woman is so amazingly powerful, and her ability to create is so amazing. If you think about it, it is profound that she can actually hold on to a human being and a soul in her body. And the impact that she has on that child is profound.
Mhm.
And you actually can teach your child advanced uh, knowledge while in the during that 9 and 10 month
So,
pregnancy. I mean, that goes into the whole mechanism of, we learned about the soulmate mechanism of the mother and the child, and the power and the impact that you have to influence and grow that child's soul, and actually start teaching her or him while you're holding on to that baby. And that's what I'm hearing you saying. And you can look at it from the standpoint of the relationship between Mother Mary and Jesus as an example. That's really kind of one of the classics of how she was able to conceive that soul and actually teach advanced techniques of spiritual development while in the womb.
right.
And it's just amazing. And that's just, I mean, 4 kids is just that's
Uh,
you should get an award for being a saint, for God's sake.
Well, you're sweet, and the beauty of that is they grew to be phenomenal human beings and adults that are
Right.
giving back to the world.
Right.
But again, also love to to really discuss. I think food's important, and
Agreed.
I think it really can change so much of your inner vibration. Like if you look at the food frequency pyramid, the very first top of the pyramid is chlorella and spirulina. It's pure photosynthesis. It's pure
Right.
sun energy, and it's got the highest vibration.
Right.
Essential oils, huge vibration.
Right.
And you start to go down at the very bottom there is death. And death is zero there's zero frequency. All it goes into is negatives of decay.
Right.
And for myself, now that I've been working with animals, um, I really feel strongly about not killing them for my consumption. Um, for my own personal growth. So when I have students and I'm teaching animal Reiki, let's say for a weekend,
Right.
I'll say, can you do me a favor before going into this weekend? I'd like you to go into at least 5 days of being vegan, and I would need you to be animal free while I'm teaching this, because I'm trying to attune you with this vibrational connection with the animals, because they're usually with their animal. So for this period of time, let's just give and not take. What they want to do with their lives thereafter is their business. But I know for myself, it's allowed me to raise my own vibration and lean in to a whole spiritual, energetic world of the animals and the way they communicate. So this has been my personal experience that I love to, take others on a journey with. I don't know if you own animals, if you have a pet, but I have one dog that she is really able to give Reiki, not just receive it, but she's able to give. She'll put her paws on your shoulder. We had an incident where she actually snapped somebody out of a seizure intuitively.
Wow.
Yeah. And because she's sensitive. But I've had times where I have her paws in my hands, my forehead to her forehead, and she'll allow me to meditate with her however long she feels like being there. But those seconds, those moments is really special to me. And I talk about how much we can learn from the animal kingdom just by watching them. So, what is your opinion on on foods that you consume and the effect of it on your inner vibration.
100%. In fact, we have a small little farm here at the Shirdi Sai Temple, which is in Los Angeles, and I made a conscious decision to grow the food myself because, and I only use organic, non-GMO seeds, sourced and harvested with my own hands, and it's all about vibrations. What you consume and the vibrations contained in them affect you,
Yes.
whether you're conscious of it or not. And for people that meditate and for people who do healing, it's even more important for them to be able to be conscious of the vibrational frequency of the food that they eat. And I rarely go out to eat, and a lot of times when I go to places, I look at the vibrations of the food that's being served, and food picks up the vibrations of not only where it's sourced from, but the people that prepare it.
Right.
And so on the spiritual path, if you are going to be really healing other people, other animals, it's important that the temple of your body have the purest vibrations, especially of the food. And like you said, chlorella and spirulina, why are they so important? Because they capture the power and the vibrational frequency of the sun.
Yes.
And we all know that the sun is one of the most important healing elements on the planet, if not the most, and it represents, the fire element. And we take for granted the elements. And, the meditation techniques that we teach is about bringing the elements, the 5 elements, the earth, the fire, the sky, ether, water, air, the water that you consume. I mean, you're 80% water. I mean, just think about that, and think about the vibrations of the water that you're consuming. And a lot of people use crystals to clear water elements. So 100%, I'm in alignment with your philosophy that you want to be higher on the evolutionary or the ascension process of meditation. You have to be cognizant of the food that you eat, the water that you drink, and the plant world and the animal world